Jonathan Pitts here, pastor at Church of the City in Franklin, Tennessee, and co-founder and president of For Girls Like You Ministries. And I'm excited to share from Romans chapter 10, verse 17 with you today, which says, "Consequently, faith comes from hearing the message, and the message is heard through the word about Christ." Romans chapter 10 is basically saying that God has a heart for salvation, that he wants to redeem, he wants to restore, he wants to bring people close to him. And his method for that salvation is Jesus. That God made him who knew no sin to be sin for us, that we might become the righteousness of God. Jesus is God's method for salvation. But his message for that salvation about Jesus is you and I, that there's a message that needs to be heard that comes from the word about Christ. And you and I, my life, your life, we get to speak that message. And I was recently talking to a friend of mine, and she was telling me that she was she got a job and she was being sent into a new community, into a new city, and that she felt like Jesus was sending her like a letter that God was sending, like she was his letter to tell his story. And that came from a conversation we had around, in Corinthians, Paul talks about that your life is a letter, that your life is a letter and a message about God. And he says in that same part that Paul says that you are a fragrance of God. And that's kind of what I want to leave you with today, that this idea that your life is a message that's heard. The word of Christ is heard through the message of your life, through your story, through your testimony, through what God's done in your life. And that you are a fragrance, that there's this idea that God is speaking a message through you, that you are his letter, that you are his fragrance, that you are his very word and his words. And ultimately, Christ is in us, therefore we're carrying him with us. And so my hope and my prayer today is that you would carry the message of Christ wherever you go, that those who would need to know that he redeems, that he saves, that he is good, would find it in your life and your message. God bless you.